Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot and Astrology. This reading is kind of for Friday, May 23rd and Saturday, May 24th. When I sat down, I told the cards that I did not want to deal with Saturn moving into Aries, conjuncting Neptune, that I wanted to concentrate more on Mercury conjuncting Uranus and then moving into Gemini, and the cards did not listen to me. So anyway, anyway, whatever. Okay, I'm going to start with two quick quotes. You can't tell the tarot cards what to do. So we're gonna go there. Anyway, I found this quote and I really like it. Each moment is a place you've never been. Mark Strand. Isn't that the truth? If we would stay in the present moment, and I have a really hard time doing that. And then I like this one. This is by the psychologist Marie-Louise von Franz. And this is concerning Saturn conjuncting Neptune, and I will explain that. But she said, it's easy to be a naive idealist. That's Neptune. It's easy to be a cynical realist. That's Saturn. It's quite another thing to have no illusions and still hold the inner flame. That's putting them together. Yeah. Not easy. Okay. So we have, and I did not print out the chart because I didn't know I was going to do that. But we have Saturn moving into Aries. Saturn takes about 27 to 29 years to go around the cycle. So this happens every 29 years or so. 27 to 29 years. And, but Saturn hasn't conjuncted, now when did I didn't write it down. Oh, I've got so many papers here, it's ridiculous. Did I write down the last time they were conjunct? Yeah, but where did I write it? I don't know. Well, anyway, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. They are at the beginning of the zodiac. Now, Saturn does not like to be in fire. And I'm going to read a couple of lines from my Liz Green book about Saturn. And this is Saturn in fire. And she says, the sense of despair and feeling of insignificance, which often accompanies Saturn's placement in fire, may be viewed as bad karma or the penalty for too many lives of self-aggrandizement or power. But this interpretation is not of much use for the person who experiences the crushing feeling of purposelessness. Sorry, this is so grim. If it is instead seen as a challenge where the individual can, through effort and the development of the intuitive faculty, begin to apprehend his true nature and his true role in relation to the group and to life in general, accompanied by the destruction or elimination of those values which are no longer of use or which are based on illusion, and since Neptune's involved, we could have that, then he can make use of his opportunity and develop that aspect of his temperament which symbolically will yield the alchemical gold. Yeah, her sentences are they're packed full of stuff. And then she says Saturn in Aries, or in the first house, but we're not going there, tends first to emphasize the fear of powerlessness, because it suggests a clinging to the more superficial features of the personality and a consequent loss of contact with the richer inner person. But eventually this fear can prod the individual into a deeper exploration of what he considers to be his identity. Saturn in the house of the identity, or in this case the sign, Aries, is closely connected with this search, which can help to yield greater knowledge, greater integration, and the greater and more productive use of the will. And I don't know why I can't read tonight. I normally can. So this is my takeaway from Saturn moving into Aries and then going to be conjunct Neptune for a while. Let's see. They are conjunct, not exactly. They get 1 degree apart. They're going to be like 2 degrees apart. Then in July of 2025, this is 2025, Lori. Okay. In July, they're going to be 1 degree apart. Saturn's going to be at 1 degree. Neptune's going to be at 2 degrees of Aries, right on my Mars. Then they both go retrograde back into Pisces. Saturn goes back into Pisces the beginning of September, and I think mid-October, Neptune goes back into Pisces, okay? Then in February of 2026, they meet again in Aries, and they're closer. I think it's exact then. I think it's like February 20th, 2026. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, this means that we have, these planets are opposite. Saturn is reality, structure, boundaries, obstructions, the physical world. Saturn crystallizes everything. Neptune is the opposite. Neptune dissolves everything. It's the ocean, the imagination, illusion, romance, fantasy, the feeling of all of us being one with the universe. Saturn makes, Saturn's like, here's one finger. Saturn's like, okay, I'm this. I'm not that, I'm this. And Neptune is like, no, we're all one. Because we are, but we're also separate. So they're totally different. So what happens when they come together? Well, they're in Aries, so this has to do with our identity and our place in the world, as Liz Green just said. But here's the thing. You could feel a push-pull between what's, quote, real, or your reality, your life, and what you want, what you can imagine. You can feel a real, like, which way do I go? You can also feel like one squashes the other. So your reality can feel kind of nebulous, like it's not really real. And then your imagination, like what you normally would fantasize about, feels like it's impossible. Like it's just being crushed or squashed. Now, those are the negative sides. But the positive of this is that dreams, what you desire, can actually be manifested into reality. You can channel your imagination into something real. That is absolutely possible. So that's the interesting thing going on here. Okay, so I knew we were going to get the Hanged Man. I was positive, even though I was hoping we wouldn't, because I told the cards I don't want this about Saturn and Neptune, but it is. Okay, and also this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. The cards always stick together. And so one of them fell out on the floor. No, one of them was stuck here. Two fell out on the floor. And I just found one just now. I did them, like I pulled them an hour ago, went to do something else, came back, found one on the floor. So I don't know where this goes. I have no idea when this fell. It probably fell with the other one. Okay, these two fell together, I think. No, this one was stuck to the back of that one. Which one? Okay, this one fell on the floor. Okay, these two fell together. We have the Magician, which is, creating something. In a sense, this is Aries, really, if you think about it, because it's the first sign of the zodiac. And the Fool is the 0 card. So that's like the potential of all of the signs. But the Magician is Aries, where you create, where it's fire, it's asserting yourself, it's literally manifesting something. So this is Aries energy. Okay, and then I think this one was on the floor too, and I can't believe there's an SPIDER on it, because I just found out today I have an infestation of poisonous SPIDERs in the basement, and I am totally freaked out. Anyway, so now I have to look at one again, and I am just like not in the mood. Okay, so the 8 of Pentacles came out. It was on the floor. I'm not positive if it was in reverse because it was on the floor. I think it was, but I'm not positive. So, but these two come out together, I think, because they were both on the floor. So they must have been stuck to each other. So we'll talk about that one at the end. So anyway, sorry, I'm blathering on here. Okay, so we start out with the 2 of Wands. This is about focusing on what you want, which is not easy when Saturn and Neptune are together, because as I said, reality can feel kind of wonky. But it's also about making a judgment call about your own thoughts. Am I being positive? Am I being negative? It's trying to figure out which side are you going to go on, which track. Not so much like what you're going to do. Well, it is what you're going to do. It's Wands. But in this deck, it's more about kind of focusing. It's about focusing your attention and your physical energy wherever it is that you want to go to. It's important. Okay. Then we get the Hanged Man, which in this deck is a bat. I love bats. I'd rather have a bat infestation, but I don't. Okay. This keeps coming up because this is Neptune. And this is telling me, well, two things, because look what comes out. He's in a cocoon. It looks like a cocoon to me. I don't think bats sleep in a tent. But he's in a cocoon. Oh, you know what? Are those his wings? Oh, it never dawned on me. That looks like a cocoon. I think it's a cocoon. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. Because look what next. The butterfly. Okay, so he is in a state of like pre-emergence. We keep getting the Hanged Man. We've gotten him a couple of times lately. And this is the Neptunian energy. And this is letting go of the Pisces cycle and getting ready to embrace this new Aries cycle. So this is about, yes, you're kind of stuck, but it's also about having faith. And I know he looks like a devil or something with the red eyes. I don't know why she did that, but it's about having faith. We have to have faith in the new cycle in order to let the old one go. If you don't know where you're going to, it's difficult to relax into it, right? You want to cling on. So this is telling you, look ahead and try to focus on something positive. Okay. And then we get the Six of Wands, which is usually it's the victory card. In this deck, it's more about new life and regeneration and, you know, coming out of the darkness into something brand new. This is absolutely Saturn and Neptune, especially Saturn in Aries. Okay, then this card came out and it's the Hermit, and it had the Father of Pentacles stuck to it. And at first I was like, I don't know if this goes or not. And then I thought, well, he's kind of Saturnian, but then look what's on the other side of the Hermit, the Father of Cups. So we have water, Neptune, and Earth, Saturn, flanking the Hermit. So what does this mean? Well, you know that quote that I just read? It just dawned on me. What was it that Marie-Louise von Franz said about holding the... Oh, gosh, my phone's doing weird things, too. Okay, it's quite another thing to have no illusions and still hold the inner flame. Bingo. Okay, here's the inner flame. Here's the inner flame. Right here. We have to hold the inner flame while these two planets are pulling us in two different directions. One is nebulous, and we are all one. One is, you know, structure and boundaries. It's like a wave and a particle. But remember, they can be both at the same time, and it just depends on how you look at them. So even though these energies are opposite, that means they're two sides of the same coin, really. And if you look at it like that, then the two become one. Two completely different wands are pointing in the same direction. Okay. So I think that's what these represent. We need to embrace and contain both of these energies. The earth, the discrete, you know, particle energy, and the nebulous wave energy. Now, again, I'm not sure if this was supposed to be upside down, and I'm so tired of looking at, I can't say the word, that thing. But this is normally, like when this is in the upright, it's about honing a skill, having a creative ability, and you're so good at it that you've finished something and you're like really proficient. When it's in the upside down, when it's upside down, it's kind of like, I feel like it's the unraveling of the web and starting over. It's like, we're done with this one. This one's done. This web's done. So we're going to move on. Okay. Then I drew two shadow cards, and I said, what's holding us back? The Three of Swords. We are not wanting to let go of the hurts of the past. And if you focus on that, you're not going to be able to move forward. So something, you know, and really, I mean, it is so karmic. Saturn is so karmic that stuff from the past comes up, And so there's a heartache that you're hanging on to, but you got to let it go. And then look, this is like perfect. Judgment. What else is keeping us here? Well, it's the second to the last card in the major arcana. The world is after it. We got the world last time. That's sort of starting, starting afresh. This is starting fresh also, but it's about taking from the past what we've learned, incorporating it into the present moment, realizing it. And tonight I actually was planning to do, where's my notes on Mercury? Mercury is conjunct Uranus, Saturday the 24th, which is like a whole feeling of shift, a mental shift, but it's a very real mental shift because they're in Taurus together, 27 degrees. So it's like things are changing on a mental and a physical level. So here's the past, present, and future. We're taking what we've learned, trying to sit with it in the present, in the hermit mode, and then we've got to move on. We got to take it with us. We've got to let it inform us. And I think we're getting stuck in this process because it's a shadow card. And I think we're not wanting to let go. It's scary when you don't know where you're going. It's scary. And we don't know yet. We will. Okay, then I drew 2 oracle cards. They finally came out tonight. Regeneration, yes, absolutely. You know what? I should look at the book. Let's see if there's anything that I'm missing about this. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's about starting over and, the flame coming out of the rubble. Rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. Second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways, okay? So you can let go of this loss, even though it's difficult, because something new will take its place. And then I also drew flexible. Yeah, we need to be flexible. Let's see, that's number 19. Am I missing anything? I think that this one had a different teachability, open-mindedness, being adaptable without compromising what's most important. Let's see if there's anything different in here. It just says to be, okay, meet in the middle. Okay, here we go. Rigidity will set you up for a fight where there are only losers and no winners. Can you find a way to bring about a result that is mutually beneficial? Meet in the middle. Spirit makes a great mediator. Okay, this is about meeting in the middle between Saturn and Neptune. We have to balance them. We have to. Anything else here? Tree's roots, a tree's roots are solidly planted in the ground, yet its branches can bend in a hurricane, whereas a rigid structure like a building would come crashing down. Okay, this is how you need to be now. Willing to learn new things, teachable, malleable, yet firmly grounded in who you are. That's Aries. Who are you? Okay, we get to figure that out all over again because we are changing. All right. Again, I hadn't planned to talk about this tonight, but we are having on the 26th, we have a new moon in Gemini, and Mercury moves into Gemini on Sunday. The new moon's on Monday, so I thought that's what I was going to get tonight, but I didn't. I got this, so I will do that in a couple of nights. And please leave me a comment, and I will talk to you guys later. Blessings, everyone. Good night.